Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about something that can literally make or break a piece of software, and that's usability.
Yeah, it sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? If you can use something, it's usable. But when we're talking about software engineering, it's actually a much, much deeper concept.
It really is. So here's what we'll cover. We're going to start with why software that works perfectly can still be a complete failure.
And from there, we'll dig into the nitty-gritty, how you actually define usability, how you design for it, test it, and then what the ultimate payoff is for getting it right.
All right, let's jump in. So just picture this. A team builds this incredible piece of software. It's a technical masterpiece. Every single feature works without a hitch. But if the people who are supposed to use it find it clunky or confusing, well, it's really just a very expensive paperweight.
That's such a great point. So if it's not just about cramming in a ton of features, what are the things that actually make a piece of software good?
Well, the experts really break it down into four main things. You've got maintainability, so it can change and grow. Then there's dependability and security, because you have to be able to trust it. Efficiency is key too, so it's not wasting your computer's resources. But that last one, acceptability, that's where we're going to live today. Right. And this is where usability takes center stage. You see, for software to be accepted, it can't just work. It has to be truly understandable and, more importantly, usable for the actual people it was designed for. It's not just a nice little bonus feature, it's a fundamental requirement. And this is where things get really serious from an engineering perspective. You can't just have usability as some kind of fuzzy feel-good goal. A vague goal is totally useless. You have to be able to define it and measure it. Okay, wow. This slide makes it so clear. It's the difference between just having a wish and having an actual plan. This system should be easy to use. That's a wish. Exactly. The requirement on the other side, that's the plan. It's specific, it's measurable. 4 hours of training, no more than 2 errors an hour. See, you can't test a wish, but you can absolutely 100% test that requirement. So if you have a concrete requirement like that, how do you actually make it happen? It really feels like this has to be baked into the project from day one, not something you just sprinkle on at the end, right?
You absolutely hit the nail on the head. It's not one little step in the process. It's a whole mindset that has to be there from the very beginning in what's called requirements engineering.
Now, this process has a few key parts. The first part is elicitation and analysis, which is really just a fancy way of saying you have to go talk to the users and find out what they really need. Then you move into specification, where you write those needs down in very precise detail.
And that last one, validation, that's where you circle back to the users and ask them, hey, did we get this right? So this whole process is where that fuzzy idea of easy to use gets turned into a rock-solid, testable requirement, way before a single line of code gets written.
And one of the best tools for this is prototyping. So instead of just talking about abstract ideas, you build a really simple, early version of the system. It might just be sketches on a screen. It lets you show people what you're thinking.
So you get something tangible in their hands as early as possible. That way you can see if you're actually meeting their real needs and create this amazing feedback loop long before you're locked into a final design.
Okay, so getting that early design feedback is a massive step forward. But let's be honest, a design is still just a theory. You have no idea if it really works until actual users test it in their own real-world environment. Oh, for sure. I mean, you can't fake the real world in a lab. You just can't replicate the chaos of a busy hospital or an office with phones ringing, people interrupting you. All of those things have a huge effect on whether software is actually usable when it matters. And that's exactly why testing happens in different stages. First, you've got alpha testing. Think of it as an internal dress rehearsal, usually at the developer's site. Then you move to beta testing, where you release it to a wider group of real users to catch things you missed. And finally, you get to acceptance testing. That's the big one, where the customer gives the final thumbs up and says, yes, this is ready. Okay, so we've defined it, we've designed for it, and we've tested for it, with the user involved every step of the way. So after all that work, what's the big payoff? Why does this all matter so much? The payoff is this beautiful, powerful chain reaction. When you nail usability, you get user acceptance. People actually want to use your software. And that acceptance leads to satisfaction. And you know what satisfied users do? They keep using the software day in and day out. That's what makes software truly successful. Which brings us to this final, really important question. It's one thing to verify that you built the software right, meaning, did you follow the blueprint? But this whole journey into usability is about something deeper. It's about validation. It's about asking, did we build the right software?
And in the end, that's what makes all the difference in the world.